Every case leaves behind evidence, right? But every mystery leaves behind questions. Welcome back to Midnight Files. I'm your host, and today we're diving deep into a detailed explanation of a case that absolutely haunted America. We're going to break down the case files, piece together the timeline, and examine the critical evidence of the Delphi murders. Let's get right into it.
Some mysteries are solved within days. Others take years. It's a pretty chilling reality of criminal investigations. You know, when a crime happens, we naturally expect swift answers, a rapid resolution. But the reality? The road to justice is often incredibly long, it's dark, and it's full of dead ends. The story we're unpacking today is a harrowing testament to that exact reality.
So, let's go back to where it all started. Section 1, The Last Hike, February 13th, 2017.
Let's retrace the tragic steps of that day. Two best friends, 14-year-old Liberty Libby German and 13-year-old Abigail Abby Williams, were just on a normal school holiday. They got dropped off at the Monon High Bridge trail, and they were just planning to spend their afternoon hiking and taking some photos. But then, they failed to return to their pickup point. Panic immediately sets in. Their families urgently report them missing, and as daylight fades, a massive search begins. A totally normal afternoon turned into a town's absolute worst nightmare.
That brings us to Section 2. A chilling discovery. February 14th, 2017.
The very next day brought a grim reality that literally shocked the entire nation. Search teams discovered the bodies of Libby and Abby in a wooded area near Deer Creek, just a short distance from the Monon High Bridge. And with this heartbreaking discovery, the entire focus of law enforcement instantly shifted. They weren't looking for two lost girls anymore. They were hunting for a killer. Section 3. The crucial clue. Digital evidence. Now, I want you to pay really close attention here, because we're about to look at one of the most critical pieces of evidence in modern criminal investigations. Right before the attack, 14-year-old Libby German had the incredible, frankly heroic, presence of mind to pull out her cell phone and press record. She managed to capture a short video of a man walking toward them on the bridge. This unidentified male suspect instantly became known to the entire world as Bridge Guy. He became the absolute central focus of law enforcement everywhere. Guys. Down the hill. Just take a second to really absorb those four words. Captured on Libby's audio recording, this chilling directive became the haunting signature of this entire case. Investigators released this audio, along with the video footage, hoping that someone, somewhere, would recognize the voice or that blurry figure. Those four words echoed across the country.
Section 4, Years in the Dark, 2017-2022. This is where the frustration really sets in.
5. That's the number of agonizing years this killer remained unidentified. I mean, despite having both video and audio of the suspect, which is an extreme rarity in homicide cases, by the way, the investigation hit a wall for 5 long years. The case became one of America's most famous unsolved mysteries. But make no mistake, while the public was waiting, the police were definitely not sitting idle. While there was this massive initial burst of activity in February 2017 with the murders and the rapid release of all that digital evidence, the gap between then and 2022 was vast. Yet, if you look at the timeline, during those years, thousands of tips poured in from all over the country. Investigators interviewed countless people. They followed hundreds of leads, drew up sketches, and literally sifted through an immense mountain of data. It really shows the sheer persistence of law enforcement over half a decade, leading right up to October 2022.
Section 5, The Arrest and Trial, October 2022. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the major breakthrough it represents for the entire investigation. Because after years of silence, the case files finally had a name. Richard Allen, a resident of Delphi itself, was arrested. Think about that. After 5 years of searching the entire country, the suspect was living right there in that small town. According to investigators, evidence had finally placed him at the Monon High Bridge trail on the exact day of the murders.
So, how did they actually build the case? Well, it was like watching a massive case file finally come together. The prosecution brought forward several key pillars: forensic evidence linking him to the scene, witness statements to corroborate his presence and establish a timeline, and, highly notably, a firearm examination that they argued directly connected Richard Allen to the crime. In the courtroom, a rigorous battle unfolded. On one side, you had the prosecution arguing that all this combined evidence pointed directly to Richard Allen as the killer. On the exact opposite side, the defense fiercely challenged parts of the investigation and heavily questioned the validity of the evidence being presented. Richard Allen completely denied responsibility, and ultimately, the jury was left to weigh the facts. After hearing all the testimony and thoroughly reviewing every piece of evidence, a resolution was finally reached. The jury found Richard Allen guilty of the murders, resulting in a lengthy prison term. A very long, incredibly painful legal chapter was finally closed for the victims' families and for the town of Delphi.
Section 6. A Legacy of Justice. The Impact. Let's talk about what we should take away from all of this.
The legacy of this case is just profound. First off, it fundamentally changed how investigators use and process digital evidence. Second, it forever highlighted a 14-year-old girl's heroic decision. Libby's choice to press record became the single most significant piece of evidence in solving her own murder. And finally, it demonstrated the true power of long-term investigative persistence. Even years after a crime, dedicated investigators can and absolutely will continue working to bring a hidden killer out of the shadows and into the light.
Justice after years. The truth eventually surfaced for Abby and Libby, but it leaves us with a pretty chilling question to think about. In our digital age, how many other ghosts are hiding in plain sight, just waiting for someone to press record? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Be sure to subscribe to Midnight Files, and we'll uncover the next story together.